Same as Ever explores the core idea that while the world around us constantly changes, new technologies, global events, markets, economies, and societies shifting in dramatic ways, there are deep patterns in human behavior that remain surprisingly unchanged. Morgan Housel argues that trying to predict exactly what will happen next is usually futile because the future is complex, unpredictable, and shaped by countless tiny forces that no one can foresee. Instead of chasing certainty about specific events, he suggests that the real key to navigating life wisely is understanding the timeless forces beneath change, how humans think, feel, behave, and respond to uncertainty. By focusing on what remains stable across centuries rather than the details that vary with every decade, we are better equipped to deal with risk, make decisions, find contentment, build resilience, and understand our own reactions to success and failure. Ultimately, the book invites the reader to shift from forecasting the future to understanding enduring human tendencies that shape both smooth progress and sudden upheavals. At the heart of the book is the theme of risk and unpredictability. Housel explains that the most significant events in history, from financial crises to wars to technological breakthroughs, often come from forces people did not see coming. He emphasizes that risk isn't just what we can identify and measure, but what we fail to see or imagine ahead of time. Because we tend to plan around visible dangers and familiar scenarios, we are blindsided by those we never considered. That's why preparing for the future is less about guessing what will happen and more about building systems, habits, and mindsets that can withstand surprises. Preparedness, in his view, is about humility, recognizing that no matter how much we think we know, there are always blind spots in our knowledge. Connected to this is Housel's point about expectations and happiness. He shows that progress in the world, better medicine, higher income, new technology, often raises expectations just as fast as it raises living standards, if not faster. Because we constantly compare ourselves to others and adjust what we think is normal, our sense of satisfaction doesn't automatically grow when circumstances improve. People often feel unhappy not because life is getting worse, but because their expectations are always chasing what is beyond their reach. The first rule of happiness, therefore, is to manage expectations, not by lowering ambition, but by understanding how expectations shape our experience. Calm acceptance of what never changes in human nature, including our tendency to shift goalposts, can make contentment more achievable. Housel also focuses on how stories and psychology influence decisions more than raw statistics or facts. He notes that humans don't respond to data the way computers do. We respond to narratives. A compelling story can outweigh cold evidence in shaping what people believe, how they invest, and what choices they make. Because of this, rational analysis without emotional context often fails. Great storytellers, whether in business, politics, or personal life, have leverage because they communicate in ways that resonate deeply with how people think. This power of narrative helps explain why some ideas succeed even if the underlying facts aren't as strong, and why others fail even when they are technically superior. Understanding that progress and failure operate on different timescales is another recurring lesson. Good outcomes tend to grow slowly and quietly through steady effort, while bad outcomes can arrive suddenly and dramatically. Many forms of progress, whether in technology, medicine, or economics, compound over long periods, building momentum that may be invisible in the moment. In contrast, negative events, a scandal, a market crash, a sudden accident, can wipe out decades of progress in an instant. This asymmetry means that smart and patient long-term thinking is often undervalued because its results aren't immediately spectacular, while dramatic failures capture attention precisely because they happen quickly. Accepting that progress almost always takes time and that setbacks are part of any journey helps individuals and societies stay resilient. A related idea is how different experiences shape people's beliefs and reactions. Housel points out that two people who lived through the same historical event might come away with different worldviews, and those who lived through completely different eras can see reality in ways that seem incompatible. For example, someone who grew up during economic depression may always be cautious with money, while someone raised in times of expansion may feel comfortable taking risks. These differing experiences create enduring psychological imprints that influence decision-making and behavior far more than most people realize. Recognizing this helps foster empathy, reduce conflict, and understand that disagreement doesn't always mean irrationality. Rather, it often reflects different life histories. Same as Ever also explores the paradox of genius and imperfection. Housel suggests that qualities that lead to great success, creativity, persistence, passion, often come with flaws that make life more complicated. Geniuses who create breakthroughs might exhibit traits that others find difficult or erratic. This means that excellence and eccentricity often come hand in hand, and expecting perfect temperaments from highly creative or impactful individuals is unrealistic. Similarly, perfectionism in ourselves, believing that success should come without mistakes, can be counterproductive. Sometimes inefficiencies, mistakes, and explorations that seem wasteful at first are the very things that create breakthroughs, innovations, and deep understanding. A striking lesson is that stability breeds instability. Housel points to the idea that long periods of calm can create overconfidence and complacency, leading people and systems to take risks they wouldn't otherwise take. When times are good and things feel safe, warning signs are ignored, buffers are reduced, and vulnerabilities grow until the next disruption arrives. This pattern appears in economy, finance, technology, and personal life. Prosperity reduces fear, fear dissipates caution, and caution's absence sets up conditions for dramatic reversals. Accepting that stability and change feed into each other prepares us psychologically to stay alert and avoid becoming numb to risk. Beyond these specific ideas, the book's overarching message is about humility, patience, empathy, and long-term thinking. Housel encourages readers to step back from the obsession with rapid predictions, hot trends, and instantaneous success, and instead build principles that reflect what humans have repeatedly done over generations. These include saving for the unexpected, valuing long-term relationships over short-term approval, being cautious in the face of uncertainty, and understanding that large patterns, fear, greed, hope, and envy, show up again and again throughout history. The goal isn't to eliminate risk or achieve perfect foresight, but to live with an awareness of the timeless forces that shape decisions and outcomes. In the end, Same as Ever reminds us that while change will always be dramatic, surprising, and beyond our complete control, human nature stays consistent across ages. By understanding these consistent patterns, how we think, what motivates us, how we react to uncertainty, and how progress and setbacks unfold, we can navigate a complex and unpredictable world with greater wisdom, resilience, and clarity. This perspective does not promise certainty, but it does offer a framework for living well amid the unknown.